Hello everybody, my name is Ashley Malavenda. My major applied research project is on the application Nearpod and what implications it has for use in the classroom. So the classroom along with digital technology. So the application Nearpod is a cross-platform application that allows the teacher or user to create interactive lessons to allow their students to participate in various ways and to allow different modalities of learning to occur at the same time. So what kind of applications or what kind of platforms could you use with Nearpod? So Nearpod could be used across iOS devices, it could be used with Windows devices, and it could also be used with Android devices. So for example, right here, let me show you. I could have Nearpod accessible to me on my phone. This is one thing. I could either just go straight onto the website or I could download the free app and access it through there. The other thing I want to show you is that I can access Nearpod also on a tablet. So this is also a different iOS device, but I can access it on there. And if we have PCs or computers, we could also access it on there. So as you can see, I have my Windows computer right here. Same application, but we're using various platforms to run it all. And what you could do, this could, a teacher could create an instantaneous live lesson or session that all students could participate in, regardless of different pieces of technology you may have. So let's go ahead and take a closer look onto everything that makes up Nearpod and why this could be applicable to many classrooms across the country.
Alright, so let's get started. I'm going to search up nearpod.com and I'm starting off at Google. So all you would have to do is type in Nearpod or go to nearpod.com. It is the first link that pops up, and this is the home page that you'll be met with once you go in. So there's a couple of things to notice here, that when you're going to send your students to log in, when they access nearpod.com, there's a enter code option right here, but we're going to be signing in as the teacher right now. So I'm going to sign in here, and if you're new to the site, you can enter to create your free teacher account here, and students could also enter their code to join a session or a lesson right here as well. So you have this option right here, and you also have this option on the top. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in, and I believe I'm going to use my APU account. So as soon as this loads, so as you can see, you could have your own email address, sign in, you could log in with Google, or you could actually log in with Office 365. I'm going to log in with Google, and I have a couple of accounts here, so I'm going to log in with this one right here, my APU account. And once I log into my APU account, I want to let you know that as a teacher or a free account holder, you can access most features, or if you want, you could upgrade to a gold or platinum to access those additional features, and I'll kind of go through those right now. But it's all free to use. So let's see, I have my account here. We could look at my library really quick. I have a couple of lessons in here that I've used or created. I've had to delete some because since this is a free one, I don't have a lot of space on here. A good one to go through would be this one, and as you can see, I could either start a live session of my Nearpod, or I could do a student-paced. Although I believe because I have the free account, I cannot do a student-paced one. So if I click on it, it will tell me right now. So see, this is a premium feature, and I would need to either upgrade now or not right now. So let me walk through. Let's go back to Explore. So see, this is how I get back to my home page. Library, Explore, and I could create my own here. Let's go back to Home. That's where we just came from right now. Let's go Explore so you can see the library worth of material that's in here. I have a couple of them. Let's see. I've gone through this a couple times. Yes, some of them you have to pay for, but you could also find some really good free ones that you can manipulate yourself. So if we look through here, they have top lessons, and they have it spread out by category if you're interested in looking for a specific category. Here's a good one on digital citizenship, something we've been learning about through our courses. I could also look up with the filters. I could search specifically here, or I could look through the free ones that they offer. And then I could go through subjects, or I could just search all lessons. I'm going to search all, that way you guys could see. So we have a couple of different free ones here, as you can see, editing and revising, welcome back to school. These are created by Nearpod, so you see this little circle. That's created by them. Here's a free Nearpod one about ELA and math, and it tells you the grade level. So you want to find something that's age appropriate for your students, or create one that's age appropriate for your own. The important thing I want to go through really quick is just going through a Nearpod. So if I go to my library, I want to do a live session of this one right here, What's Inside a Tree Trunk. This is grades 1 through 4. This could be a science lesson. But as you can see right here, it's loading up really quick. You're going to get a class code, which you're going to share with your students. So you can either email this to them, share it on Google Classroom, or you could just write it up on the board and have students go to nearpod.com to access this. Okay, so after they type in their code, they're going to be greeted by a screen that looks kind of like this. So I'm going to switch out really quick so you can see the student end of what it looks like. Okay, so I signed into my Google Chrome browser, and now I'm going to go back to the Nearpod page. I'm going to pretend I'm a student, and I'm going to enter the code that you just saw previously. So XPZVD. And then I'm going to go ahead and enter that. And then right now you're going to see that the first option that the students are going to see or get is a screen that's a welcome screen, and it's going to ask them for their nickname or their name. Have them put their first name and last name, or first name and then last initial, and then maybe right here could be an ID number. ID number, let's say I'm student number 1, okay, or class number 1. Then it's going to send this to the teacher, and then they're going to be in control whether to move this screen or not. So let me go back to the teacher screen. Here's the teacher screen. So now I'm ready to move forward. So this is the teacher one. If I'm ready to move forward, I'm going to go ahead and move on with the slides. This one's a pre-made one, so it gives me an introduction. What I want you guys to notice too is down here, it tells me how many students are in my class, their name, and what their class number or ID is. I could decide to remove them or kick them out if they put anything inappropriate in here and have them try it again. Then I could close this. I could see right here all the slides that we're going to be going through. I could skip some if I want. I could also show student names right here. If I keep on going, I just want to go through this briefly since this presentation isn't too long. But as you can see, we can start teaching a lesson, have visuals up for the students. But all of this is happening. Watch, let me go back to the student one. The student is being led. The student cannot do anything to move this screen. So this is a teacher-paced lesson. They cannot be distracted by moving forward or going back. It's a whole class instruction for this piece. So the teacher one again. I'm going to move forward. And you can see as this is our first activity. This is very interactive because you could include an activity that allows students to, for example, use text, drawing, and image search tools to make predictions about the inside of a tree trunk. Maybe I want students to draw what the inside of a tree trunk looks like. This is very cool because students can explore this content through not only images or like typing, but they could also take polls, and there's mini quizzes that you could include. But imagine all the possibilities because we have different multiple intelligence learners. This, I believe, is a great tool for them to use, and it's also a quick reference or a quick assessment that you could gain. So let me go back to the student one. So you see right here, it asks the same question. I could hide the question, or I could pull it down. I could use these tools down here. So this is the pencil tool. There's also a highlighter tool. So I could just click the highlighter, how big I want to highlight. Go back down. I could write text. I could enter, different things there. I could search Google Images or browse my own files on my device to include maybe part of my response. I could also erase, if I didn't like what I did. Have the eraser going there. Erase it right there. I believe the text, you have to click on it again and then delete it. Click on it and delete. Or like I said, just go ahead and have the student draw what they think the inside of a tree trunk looks like, okay? Once they're done, they go ahead and send their answer over, and it's going to tell them that, I've received it. They'll be waiting here until it's time to move on. Let me go back to the teacher one. Teacher receives it, so I could go ahead and if I click on this, I could decide, oh look, I could zoom in and look at it. I could also decide whether to share this. So once it's being shared, watch, let me go back to the teacher account. Once it's shared, then all the students can see one student's response. And this is real good because this allows for interactive brainstorms or discussions in real time for students. And, some of those students that are stuck can get a new idea and maybe could do their own thing. Or even if they're, per se, copying, but at least, they gathered that information. Now they have new background knowledge to work with. So if we go here, I could decide to unshare. Then I could go ahead and close and move on. And for time's sake, I'm going to kind of just move through this quickly. This, I believe, is a poll or short answer. Type in my short answer again. Send. And then go back to the teacher one. I have no answer so far, but I just sent it. See, it takes a little bit for it to pop up. It tells me the percentage of my class that has participated, and then I can move forward. So, as we can see, this is actually, pretty interesting and pretty engaging for students who, for the most part are non-engaged and, need that extra visual or, boost to, do different things besides pencil and paper. So this goes along with the SAMR model, and I believe it truly defines what redefinition of the SAMR model is, because it's something that we weren't capable of doing before, and yet with technology and all these devices, we do have it. I'm going to go ahead and move forward just so you can see a little bit more. So it's a good explanation through all this. Circling the part of the pith of the tree trunk. Let's see what else we have. A little review at the end. And I believe this is a fill in the blank. The student one has the words scattered, and their job is to grab one and put it in the right place and submit it when they're done. The other thing you could do is, end with a thank you for participating. Like I said, this is a great tool, and once you're done, you have a list of activity reports. Some activity reports that you have. Let's see. When I am done with this, I could go ahead and sign out. And let me show you back when I get to the teacher page. Alright, once I get back to my home page, if I wanted to look up any reports, I have a clear piece of information that I could gather. So let's see. So with the reports, I could look at any sessions that I've created previously. So I did this one down here with a 3rd grade class. I did this one just right now. Let me show you the breakdown of what it includes. So it tells me, okay, I have different sessions that I started. Okay, these were test ones. This tells me how many students were in there. If I'm looking for a more specific one, for example, this one, 24 students, I could take a look of that because it has more information for me to show you. This is a quick summary of what is included. It tells me their names or their ID number that they put. It tells me what their participation level was down here. And then it also gives me a quick summary of, for example, I could check polls, open-ended questions. I could see how they responded to this specific question. How did they respond to a draw it question? I could choose one right here. How they felt like they did themselves. This is just a sample of things that you could do. You could also download a PDF version of this that students could view, or one that you could view. Yeah, but it's pretty much a great way to get students engaged into their learning. And you know what? Nearpod offers a bunch of interactive lessons, and a lot of these lessons align with the Common Core State Standards, and they're also authored by other educators and other publishers, so it's worth taking a look into. But if you get the chance, I would suggest you do. So let me end off with some positives of Nearpod. So Nearpod is free to sign up with. You could pay for a premium account, or there's also district licenses available for purchase. These include a little bit more storage, and that way you don't run out of room when you're storing your lessons. This application also includes interactive slides in which students can draw, take notes, or use the Collaborate tool on the live sessions, which allows for interactive brainstorms in real time. You could also download and customize lessons that are already made by others, or you could create your own. This application is controlled by the teacher with a whole group instruction, or if you have the premium or district license feature, you could do student-paced or small groups. So you could sign them up with the lesson and give them the code, and they could go do it as one of their workstations for maybe like their small group instructions. Nearpod also allows you to gather and share models of various representations of student thinking, which is very important when considering MI learners, or multiple intelligent learners. They need an outlet for different activities or ways to express what they're thinking, either by drawing, writing, or explaining maybe with a video or a song. And also this is, it integrates with many school management systems such as Google Classrooms, and it provides very formative and summative assessments with a report at the end as your summative assessment, and a formative as instantaneous yes or no questions such as your polls. You could get instant answers and maybe stop and reflect on thinking. But also this program is engaging for all students. The next piece of this is the potential setbacks of Nearpod. So yes, the potential setbacks include limited storage and running out of space when you're saving or creating lessons. Nearpod presentations cannot be downloaded or saved in other formats. So for example, if you like the lesson that somebody else created and you wanted to download it for yourself, like save it on your computer, you can't. You can only save it in your library and then manipulate it from there. Another thing to consider is asking for student approval before sharing their responses. Some students don't like to be called out or shared that way. Just make sure to ask for permissions. And last thing is, a potential setback includes not having reliable internet or devices to be able to access Nearpod or enjoy it to its full potential. In a research article by Dela Cruz, students who were using Nearpod found this type of app to be beneficial to their small reading groups that they use them in, and it was motivating, and they enjoyed learning the content that was presented through the application. Students also explained in this article how they could transfer knowledge that they gained during using the application to their own independent work later. The teacher also discussed how to improve, how Nearpod helped them improve their organization with their guided reading group. But they also had a cautionary tale of that you needed a lot of consideration and planning to ensure that the technology would work ahead of time or work properly during their guided reading group. So just remember that you have everything set up beforehand. It's also recommended that the Nearpod application be used in these guided reading lessons because of its user-friendliness and the ability to engage students while also being able to monitor their progress. So these were some positives found in this article. In the McLean and Crow article, they wanted to make aware that engagement in large classes, such as, for example, college lectures instead of De La Cruz's small elementary school setting, they could solve the problem of maybe, for example, like how do you engage big classrooms such as lecture halls? And one of the solutions was to bring their own device, since everybody carries one with them anyways, and using the Nearpod app with a phone, a tablet, or a laptop that could help facilitate more interactive learning experiences during these courses. For example, the lecturer may choose to share a poll or responses, or maybe examples of submission from like what they got back from students, or pose open-ended questions. Maybe, for example, they're not getting the lesson, so a professor could decide to add an activity or add a poll that might engage their learning a little bit more. But they also were able to gather instant feedback on what the students were learning. Another thing was that students commented in this article or research that they favored the interactivity and engagement that they were afforded by Nearpod, something they didn't have to pay extra for and was easily accessible. And lastly, Nearpod and similar products represent a new class of future-rich audience response systems that have the potential to transform small to even large classes, which is exactly what we want to see. We want to make sure that this technology is applicable to both small and large, and there's very few drawbacks to it. We don't want something that causes more headaches than solutions. Okay, and so thank you guys all for watching my presentation on Nearpod. I know it was kind of long, but I hope you guys learned, a little bit about this, and I hope you guys give it a try and can see the potential behind, learning in the classroom and combining technology. It doesn't have to be, one thing or another. There's ways to integrate both and that students are able to enjoy it. So please give it a try at nearpod.com, and hopefully you guys learned something from this lesson. Thank you guys for watching.